seeing two persons.
So we're recording. I think it's on.
It says you are live, but we aren't visible. You are live, we're getting. Okay. Okay. Well, they wouldn't be visible. See, they're thinking it's a meeting now.
Somebody said that we're live. We are live. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Good morning or good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to our second version of this new version of the NJAPM Carl Cangelosi Webinar Series. We are live. You are correct, Bob McDonald, that you cannot see each other because this is a webinar, not a Zoom meeting. So you will only be able to see me and Lawrence Eichen, who will introduce himself in a couple of minutes. I just want to remind everybody that we are recording. We are going to go from 12 to 1 p.m. There is no CLE credits available for this webinar, so there will be no codes and there will be no forms for you to fill out at the end. If you have a question that you'd like Lawrence to answer, please put it in the Q&A, not in the chat. I will be monitoring the Q&A and I'll interrupt him as we go along. I just want to remind everybody that next month, on November 20th, from noon to 1, we will be presenting, Bruce Watlock, one of our members, will be presenting on mediating workplace disputes. And the program for December 18th is going to be building and growing your divorce and family law mediation practice, which is going to be moderated and coordinated by Joan Geiger. And there's a whole group of experienced divorce and family law mediators who will be presenting that particular program. So without further ado, I'm going to turn my video off. I'm going to mute myself. I'm going to turn this over to Lawrence Eichen. He's going to introduce himself and take it from there.
Okay, thank you, Bruce. Welcome, everybody. First, I will say, as Bruce and I were talking before we started this, and some of you are already recognized, as Rob had put in, because it is a webinar, we don't get to see you, which really, if you remember Tech Time, if for those of you who had attended a Tech Time in the past, that's a thing that Carl and I actually butted heads over. He wanted it to be in the webinar format. I wanted Tech Time to be in the meeting format because I like to see everybody when I'm talking. This is why I don't like to do webinars. I'm talking to my camera and I don't see anybody. So I'm only doing the webinar in honor of Carl today. That's why I'm giving him this. He's looking down and I'm sure he's smiling that we're doing the webinar. But the next one, if there is ever a next one, will be in a meeting format. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen so I can get started and officially welcome everybody here. And as you heard Bruce say, just put some questions in there. I'll stop along the way. I have several things to go through. Some of this stuff is just stuff that I've come across relatively recently that seems interesting. As you know, Tech Time's goal was to sort of share things that we found on the internet. Usually they were free things, sometimes they're paid, but there are things that you might find useful in the course of running your mediation practice or just for your own personal use. Okay, so without any further ado, let's see if I can get that to go. All right, so here's the agenda. We're going to talk about something in PowerPoint, really cool feature. I'm going to only spend a few minutes on it because I don't know that everybody is really using PowerPoint so much to create their own PowerPoints, but it's kind of a cool feature. Then I'm going to talk about a really cool PDF website that allows you to get really hands-on with your own PDFs. Then something I just actually found last night, YouTube summary extension, which is great. And then a Zoom tip which is from an article I wrote, which will be in the NJAPM newsletter that's coming out sometime, I think, in early November. But there's one tip in there that I think I want to just share with you, a conference teaser. And then if there's any time left, I'll talk a little bit about the Windows snipping tool and a virtual cable, which is also kind of cool. Okay. And then we already talked about questions, put them in the chat. All right, so the first thing is PowerPoint morph transition, which you're watching as I'm doing this, and it's kind of a really cool thing. And I just want to spend a few minutes about it because if you're, oh, let me escape, excuse me. Okay, so first I want to show you what it is. This is the PowerPoint that I'm using right now. And this is the transitions, right? Typically, when you do a PowerPoint, if you're creating them, there's all these different traditional transitions to use. Morph is on this panel somewhere up here. And the morph, if you're using morph, it comes with 3 options. Let me just show it. So the 3 options would be objects, words, and characters. If you're using a transition, and I'm just going to demonstrate them. This is just one transition of many, but it's cool. I like it. I use it in all my PowerPoints now. So let's go back and I'll explain it. So as you can see, the words move on their own on each screen. If there's a similar word on the next screen, you can just make it glide like that. So you can just move a word around, move it back. You can move multiple words, move it back. And it's kind of just cool the way things move. And that's the word option for morph. The character option I like even better, which just finds similar characters between the screen that you're on and the one that you're transitioning to. So in this one example, here's the next screen, and see the way that moved, kind of cool. I never saw that before. I saw it used. This is the actual tutorial, and we're recording this. So if you ever want to do this yourself on YouTube, there's a guy, Kevin Stratvert, who I like. There's plenty of people that do tutorials on PowerPoint. I came across him. He does a lot of really good tutorials, not just for PowerPoint, but for Microsoft on many different Microsoft Word and Excel and all the tools and applications. He's really good. So I recommend him. And that's how I learned the morph thing. And you could do it in 10 minutes and learn it. So, and as you can see, it's just kind of cool the way the characters move. The last one I want to show you is the object. So in this example, the arrow is an object. And if I click on it, you can kind of make your object spin around and do things. And I like that. So if you remember when I started this PowerPoint, right, I created a cartoon image of myself. And then by just morphing it as an object, it kind of dances across the screen. Again, I just like the way that stuff looks. And here's the tutorial, link one more time. And that's on the recording. Okay, so let's move on to PowerPoints. To PDFs. All right, so I want to show you this other thing, which is kind of cool. And this is a website called smallpdf.com. And the first thing I want to show you is that there's a free version, a pro version, and some other versions. I personally have only used this a few times. I came across it just because I wanted to edit a PDF and I was trying to find the right way to do things. Somehow I came across this website, and the free version is good. It's going to let you do a lot, which I'm going to show you some of the things that you can do. The limits on the free version, though, which is a little frustrating, is it only allows you to download 1 or 2 of your final outputs. So if you're trying to download more in a day, let's say I had a PDF and I worked on it, I edited it the way I'm going to show you, then I download it to keep it, great. It allows you to do that for free. And then I did it again, and then I download another one. It allows me to keep it free. If I do a third one, I've been getting like, okay, you can't do that unless you do a paid plan, but you have to, if you don't want to pay, you have to wait like 8 hours or 10 hours. So they keep it, allowing it to be free, but after you do, let's say 2 or 3 at the most downloads, you got to wait 8 or 10 hours to do another one. Now, that's not been a problem for me because I haven't used this that much. And I might only come here if I do have one thing to work on. And then I do it, I download it, and then I'm done. And I move on with whatever else I'm doing. And by the next time I come back, it's more than 10 hours later. So I just stayed with the free version. It's not that expensive anyway. It's only $9 a month. If you pay yearly. If you pay monthly, it's $12 a month. So if you're doing a lot with PDFs, if you like what you see on this, I would probably get the pro version myself if I was going to really use it all the time and just pay the yearly $108, because what you can do is really cool. So I want to show you a couple of things on it. Here's a list just of all the different things you can do. And some of these you can do already if you have, Adobe Acrobat or the paid version of Adobe. Let's say if you're doing that on, you get a lot of these features with that. You would need to maybe do some of this, but if you don't have that and you're just looking for something free, let's just give an example of something. Here's a very simple one that comes in handy, numbering pages. And I'll tell you why. So if I click on this and I choose a file, I'll go in and I have one I made for today, a sample. Okay, and I'm going to upload that file. So that's a 44-page brief that I found from a couple of years ago. Right over here, it's just going to give me the circles of where I want to put a page number. And I'll just put one in here on the right side. Now, if I click on number pages, there it is. It's going to give me, on the side here, the ability to download that document with the numbered pages. And here you can see there's a number. Now, that may seem really simple, but here's the thing. A lot of times you create a document in Word, and then you number it right off the bat, and then you can save it as a PDF. So you don't need something like that for that. But how many times do you get a PDF that somebody sends to you, or you're putting together, you're scanning documents, they don't have page numbers on them, and I have had to handwrite page numbers in there. This looks very much more professional to be able to just automatically put it onto your PDF. So that's a little nice feature. Then let's edit and organize. So now we have this document. I'll show you a couple of the features. I'm going to put it into the organize mode. And what's nice is it brings the whole document up. Okay, so you can see it's a 44-page document, and they all have page numbers now. And this particular document down here is the cover page, which is in the wrong location for some reason. If you click on the magnifying glass, every page you can see bigger. So I look at that. Oh, that was the cover that I made. I had redacted some of this before I brought it on here. All right, so now I want to move that page to the front. So all you got to do is just drag and drop wherever that blue line is. I'm going to put it right at the beginning, and now it's reordered. So reordering your page is real simple, okay? Now, here's really what I was doing, I think, the first time I ever came across this, is I had an existing PDF, and then all of a sudden somebody sent me something else that I needed to insert in the middle of the PDF. Now, that's a pain in the neck. If you have a long PDF document, and it's like I have a 44-page document, let's say in this example, and I want to put a page in the middle. Well, normally, what do you got to do, right? Like, well, I would probably have to print the document, put the page in the middle where it belongs, and then rescan it. It's a pain in the neck. This, all I do is click on insert. I'll go into my my files where I might have this single page. Okay, so we're going to use a conference flyer for the upcoming conference, right? So we can say, here's the New Jersey. Let's say this had to be in the middle. All I got to do now is just drag it and put it in my document where I want it. And now, bang, there it is. And that could be a 5-page PDF that was sent to me, or a 20-page, whatever. I can just insert existing PDFs into an existing already PDF document. Really powerful, very easy to do, and for free, which is nice. Now, another thing that you can do, and this one was great also, is let's say you have a PDF document, and for some reason, maybe there's 10 pages out of it that you want to make as its own document, or you want to take out a page. You should just use the extract feature. And now any box that I check, will take these pages and extract them out and make its own separate PDF. So let's say I just wanted to randomly take out some things. I come down here where it says extract, and bang, it's going to give me a PDF of just those extracted pages, which I can now download, I can share it. And that's a nice feature too. It's just very simple to get what you want out of a PDF or put things into it. I'm going to close this off and not save it. And I'm going to just move this out of the way on my screen so I can see. I'll deselect what I was doing. So that's another thing. Also splitting up PDFs, right? Let's say I have a very large PDF document. Maybe you have a mediation agreement. Maybe there's like, you got 100 pages, 200 pages, whatever it is. It's too big maybe to work with. Maybe you can't email it because it's too big for your email platform, right? You just split it up. And it automatically, when it hits split, it gives you all these perforated lines. And then wherever you click on, you will get a split of that document. So let me just move. I got something on my screen here. So now I just did that there. Now it gave me pages 1 to 8 and pages 9 to 45. Or if I split it again down here, it's now giving me 1 to 8, 9 to 22, 23 to 45. So really another cool feature. This, by the way, this screen just shows you what it's prepared to do. You got to go down here to hit the split, and then it'll do it and then allow for you to download it or share. And it put it into a zip file just so it's easier and quicker to download, but you can then download and zip. So anything that it's doing, it's kind of putting on the right-hand side, showing you what it's going to be, and then you can adjust it. But when you're ready to really do what you want, you download it at the bottom. So that's also, I'm going to confirm that because I'm not saving it. So that's another thing that's cool. Then I want to show you another thing that I liked on this, marking it up, right? Here's a document. Now, let's say you have sensitive information and for whatever reason, you need to redact things. Again, in Microsoft Word, redacting, putting in highlighting, really simple. That's not a problem, but it's when you have existing PDFs already that you can't edit and you want to do things to it. This is really cool. So let's say I come into here. Let's say there's I'm going to come into the highlight. I'm going to hit black and it says 50%. That's the opacity, which means I want to make it 100% because I'm redacting sensitive information. And if I leave it at 50, you might be able to still read it. 100%, it won't let you do that. And it turns the cursor into like this I bar. And if you know what? This line needs to be redacted up to here, bang. And you could just do that wherever you are, quickly redacting things. So it's a really cute tool. If you hit the undo button, you can go back and change things. I really like it for redacting existing PDFs that might have to be for whatever reason. You can also obviously highlight it in any color, like regular, if you just made that back to, let's say, around 50%, and you wanted to highlight things like normally you would do in Word, you can highlight it and still read it. So that's cool. You can also, here's another feature that I like for marking up, is in this one, arrows. You want to bring something to the attention, you just drag it and bang, it's got an arrow right there. And every time you do that, you got to go back though and just hit the arrow. So let's say there was another part of the document, I wanted to bring it to somebody's attention, an arrow. Kind of cool little things. You could also use an ellipse, let's say, to circle something. You want to show somebody, oh, what's going on over here in your document, something crazy like that. What else did I want to show you? And then you can go back, by the way, as I said, so you can just get rid of some of this stuff. And then here's another feature, editing PDFs, right? This is not always easy to do, even if you have software ready. Some of the software that we have that allows for editing, this one, I really like the way it works. You click on edit and it's now I'm going to double space it and then double click, excuse me. And then it brings that text right into like a word processing mode. And then I can type in anything I want right over here. So I might say, Bruce is doing a great job today, right? I put that in and then bang, it's right in my PDF. Oh, great job. I misspelled job. And then double click out of that and it's right in there. Bruce is doing a great job today. Really nice way to edit an existing PDF document. And again, you could do this for free and then just download it, and you wouldn't have to pay for that. And then one other thing I think, oh no, here's another one. Wait a second. I want to do this. The search function. I love this. Okay. I go into here. Let's say I've got a 50-page document, 45-page document, and I want to look for the word plaintiff in this document, right? Just typing it in, look how quickly, and every instance is highlighted. Really nice when you maybe misspelled something or you want to think whatever you need it for. Just their searching is really just nicely done, highlighted and all that stuff. So I like that feature. And then you can even sign the document. I'm not going to go through that because it's a little bit more convoluted, but they give the capability for you to do e-signatures on this as well. You just be using your mouse to sign it. And I think if there was anything else I wanted to show you. That's pretty much the general idea. Oh, yeah, here's one I wanted to show you. Let me get out of this first. And I'm going to bring back, I'm going to get out of this, leave this, and I'm going to create this again and just go back here, and I'll tell you why. All right, I'm going to I'll log in. I think I need to be logged in for this one. I created an account. You can create an account, and it's not it's still a free version, but I just created an account. I'll get that in there. Okay. So, you know what I like also? This is good in case you're sending documents that you're worried about confidentiality wise. Protect your PDF. Okay, so I'm going to load that same sample document that I have here. Now, it automatically gives me an opportunity to enter a password, which I'll put in. I'll repeat it. And it encrypts it, right, like that. So now that document, if I download that document, you see the lock sign there? It's whoever I send that document to is going to have that password to open it, which is a nice little feature that you might need if you're worried about sending sensitive information, emailing it out. So really cool. I'm going to unlock that just so we save that. All right, so that's really about it on PDF. I just wanted to kind of start the day with that one, but I really like it. I've used it for free for a while. I haven't had to pay for it, but if you're doing a lot, and by the way, one thing I left off here, let me just go back to the home. What's also nice too, by the way, is, you know, it converts PDF to Word documents. So you can have a PDF that you received and you can just make it into an entire Word document and then edit it in Word too. You could go back and forth in all these different ways. As you can see, you can make PowerPoints into PDFs. You can do all this stuff. Now, some of these features, as I mentioned, if you have these programs, you can do things like this already, like in Microsoft, you know, PowerPoint. You can save your PowerPoint as a PDF. So you don't need to come here to do that. So there's a lot of features here that might not be necessary if you already have the applications on your computer, but in one central location. This is what I like. There's just so much that you can do with PDFs in this particular website. And it has had a lot of excellent reviews. That's probably how I found it, just looking at things. And I saw it coming up all the time as like one of the better ones to use. So, okay. I'm going to stop with that PDF and move on.
Before you move on, I'm going to ask a question. What is the difference between this program and the pro version of Adobe, which is what I think a lot of people are using? Because Adobe kind of like it seems to be the standard for PDFs.
Yeah, it's a great question. And I don't know if on Adobe Pro, and I don't know if whether you can do all of that I just said, all that splitting and all of those features, if that's available in Adobe Pro. And I apologize, I'm not a guru on PDFs and all these software, but you know, if you have Adobe Pro and you can do all that stuff, then you don't need this, right? And it's you don't. But it's for those that don't have all of these features on there, it's a place where for free you can kind of get some of that. So it's a great question. I'll have my assistant look into that, but he's sleeping right now in his cat mat. But But anyway, so that's it. So let me move on to the next topic here, which was, what is our next agenda? Oh, YouTube summary session. Okay, this is really cool. This one I just found last night, which is really cool. We all are watching a lot of videos, right? And sometimes we just don't have the time to watch them. So I'm going to pull up a video, and this is how I know it works, because I just was using this last night. This is a video of myself, a speaker clip, right? And it's a 5-minute video. And here's how this would work. Let's say I'm watching this. Something that's important. Let's say I'm watching this video. And if you can see right here, it says transcript and summary. And I'm going to show you how to put this in as an extension, but this is how it works. If I was going to watch this video, this will come up automatically once it's installed in my web browser. And right here is the icon for it that I installed. And I'll show you how to do this. But once it's there, you'll see this little YouTube logo for it. And then you'll see this come up when you're watching a video. And here's the beautiful thing. You click on it. You see how fast that was? It summarized the video and made a transcript of it, of what I was saying, and gave you the time increments of when I was saying things. That's really cool, right? Just to get a transcript instantaneously of a YouTube video. And then what you can do with that, which is really cool, is I could just immediately copy it. And then if I wanted to, with a blank page in Microsoft Word, right, I could just paste it. And there it is. And then I could double space it, right? I play around with it myself. If I want to just double space the entire document, then I can read it a lot easier, right? By just doing Control-2, should double space it, right? So now I have an actual thing that I could read at my leisure. That's one thing you could do with it, which is kind of cool. But here's another thing that's even cooler, I think, is that, and I'm going to be talking about ChatGPT, so this is a little bit of a little teaser, but it's integrated automatically. This particular extension is implemented with ChatGPT, if you're familiar with ChatGPT or not. But here's the key. Right up here, if I click on this, and it already has it summarized, right? If I click on the ChatGPT, it'll take me to ChatGPT. This is my ChatGPT, and it automatically, if you can see this down here, I got extra stuff on my screen, so I'm trying to move this. It automatically put in that transcript right here, right? That's the same transcript, just kind of condensed right here, single spaced, and it already prompted it with summarize the following in 5 bullet points. So it's all ready to go. And then I would click on ChatGPT, this arrow, to enter that. And then ChatGPT is going to work on that, which it's doing right now, just by looking here. And then here, it just summarized it in 5 bullet points of what that video is about. Lawrence D. Eichen speaks on critical importance of commitment in effective negotiating, highlighting that lack of commitment can significantly impact one's tone, body language, and overall negotiation. He delves into emotional complexity. You know, and the thing is, the reason I'm using this as an example, it's not to like promote myself, but it was like, is this thing work for real? And it was like, yeah, that's actually what I was saying, you know? And it's like, so I was just testing it last night, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to share this with you guys today. So it really does work. And it's really cool, like very quick, just instantaneously having a summary of a video without having to watch it. So let me show you now how to install it, because so you'll know what I'm talking about in terms of extensions. So I'm going to start a new tab to show you, and I'm going to go into incognito mode so that it doesn't take my existing account information. I want to give you the actual, hold on a second. I have to move this thing all the time. Okay, hold on a second. Let's see if I did that. All right. So here's a window, and what we're going to do is go to the 3 dots that are on your Chrome. You have to be in Google Chrome. Let me say that first. Then I'm going to come and hit the 3 dots, and I'm going to go down to what are known as extensions. And when you put your cursor over that, you get manage extensions, manage the existing ones you already have, or visit the Chrome Web Store. Click on the visit the Chrome Web Store. search in the store for YouTube summary ChatGPT. Okay. Enter, and it's going to give you a few of them. Now, there's several that do things, right? But the one that I just was showing you, I had to click more extensions to find it. And it's down, we're somewhere down here. There it is. It's YouTube summary with ChatGPT and Claude. If you're not familiar with Claude, Claude is another artificial intelligence platform similar to ChatGPT. Actually, the people that developed Claude used to be with OpenAI. That's the company that developed ChatGPT. And some of those guys broke off and developed their own thing called Claude, which is also very good too. I use both of them. This particular extension, only reason I use this one is because I was watching some video and the guy in the video recommended this one. He did some research, said this was a good one. So I said, oh, that sounds good enough for me. So that's as much as I know, and that's what I did. And so you click on this, and now when you click on that, you'll get it, YouTube summary, but it won't say remove. It's saying remove because I already have it installed. Yours will say add, and you'll add it to Chrome. When you add it, then it'll automatically be part of that capability that I was just showing you. So I'm not going to remove it. I'm just going to show you once you add it, here's the next thing you want to do is you want to pin it up here so you can see it. And that is where we're doing extensions, and I'm going to manage them. You'll see this is all the ones that I have. And there's, I'm sorry. This just shows what you have. I made a mistake. It's not managed. You see this little puzzle? This is a piece right here. It's called a puzzle piece. I just learned this last night. This is a puzzle piece. If you click on that on your browser there, it'll show you the list of extensions that you have. And then you can, I got to move this. Hold on. And just move this screen thing. Let me go back there. Okay. It shows you the list. And then you see how you can pin them? I have it pinned. So right here, you see it. If I unpinned it, you won't see it. So if you see the YouTube summary in ChatGPT, just pin it. That way you have access to it all the time. You'll see it right up on your browser bar there. So and I want to just show you one more example of this, that how fast it does it. Because I have another video that I tried after this. And this is one that I gave a presentation on defeating imposter syndrome. It's over an hour.
Welcome to
Hold
Defeating
on.
Imposter.
It's over an hour. And this is what comes up again, the transcript and summary. So I clicked on that. This is an hour video. And see how fast that just did that? Like in a second, there's the entire transcript of it all the way right to the end. So it's really cool. Again, you could do the same thing, copying it or just trying to go into ChatGPT with it and it'll summarize it. So really cool stuff. And that's it for that.
Bob McDonald has a question, and I'm gonna give him the opportunity to ask it live because I'm not sure I understand the question. So Bob, I just gave you permission to speak.
Okay,
so unmute yourself and go ahead.
Thanks, Bruce. My question, Larry, is this extension only works for YouTube videos because there's a ton of other videos out there, but this only works for YouTube, correct?
That's correct. This is a YouTube summary extension. Now, I'm going to tell you, are there other ones that do this for, let's say, Vimeo, which is another big one? I didn't even look. I literally just found this last night. So is there another one? Probably the odds are there is. So I would say, that would be something to check out. But I don't know that off the top of my head.
Thanks. That's cool.
Yeah. As you can see at Tech Time, we pride ourselves on being very limited in information. That's what we call, we were known for that. We know what we're talking about, but not anything else. All right. So let me move on to the next one. Okay, a Zoom tip. All right. So this isn't anything really to show you, just something that I wanted to bring to your attention, because if you're mediating, and we're doing a lot of mediations virtually, one of the things that that comes up, I find for myself, even if it's not a mediation, if it's just even a meeting with other people, I mean, we're all doing a lot of virtual stuff. When you join your meetings in Zoom, again, not the webinar situation like this, but like a real meeting where you're a part of 10, 15, 20 people, maybe even just a smaller meeting where it's only 2 or 3 people. I've actually done it with that. It's really significant. I find that lately, the last probably 3 months, I no longer show my video to myself. I hide my view of me, which you can do in the Zoom options. If you're probably familiar, I'm sure most people are familiar now, like there's a view option setting at the top of the screen, which I can't show you because we're on this webinar. But if you hit view, you can either be in gallery view or speaker view. In that option list, there's one that says hide self view. So all you're doing there is you're not turning your camera off. You're still visible to everybody else on camera, but you yourself don't see yourself as part of the conversation when you're meeting with people. And this has 2 benefits. And I think number one, it frees up screen real estate so that the people on your screen get bigger because you're taking yourself out. This is much more noticeable if you're doing a meeting with 2 or 3 people, because now you just have 2 people on the screen instead of 3, including yourself. And that's number one. So it just people become bigger. And number 2, I have found that I don't like that I'm distracted by seeing myself as I'm talking to people. It's so unnatural. And yet we've been doing it for years with this pandemic. And I find, like, you know, when you meet with people in person, I'm not looking at myself, I'm looking at them. And I find I'm able to concentrate better and retain more information when I don't get, you know, see myself, and maybe I'm looking at my, I got, you know, mustard on my lip or something. And it's like, I'm like, I might be more self-conscious of how I'm coming across seeing myself. So if you're mediating, I don't think you need to be on that screen. I think you just need to have your parties there, and then they're bigger, especially in breakout sessions when it's one-on-one. I just did this, you know, and it's like the other person is so big that my entire screen is just talking to them, and I'm talking, and it feels better. It's a better conversation. And I've been doing this now for about 3 months. And so I recently wrote an article that's going to come out in the NJAPM newsletter. I think it's coming out like in the early part of November, of best practices for virtual mediations. And I wrote a little something on that. Like, I just put that in there. That's not what the whole article is about. There's, I think, 8 other things that I talk about, or 10 other things. So I'm mentioning it here because I think it's just been top of mind for myself. So that's the Zoom tip for tech time today. All right. Now that'll lead me into the conference teaser, because I believe Suzanne made it a point to tell me to make a teaser. So I'm going to give it a little teaser. And the teaser really is on the presentation on ChatGPT. So you probably see the emails going around, but as you can see, I'm going to, you know, ChatGPT is just incredibly powerful. And if you're somebody who's unfamiliar with ChatGPT and haven't used it, or are very leery about it and skeptical, then it's really important that you hear maybe a presentation on it, because it's so amazing and there's so much that you can do with it. It's overwhelming. But the reason I even decided to do a presentation on it is because I'm using it myself almost daily to just try to help in some of the stuff that I'm doing. And it's, as I just showed you, just even for personal stuff, reading videos. And some of it's not personal. It's like, you know, you're getting a business video or something, somebody that is sending me something and it's a video. It's just great to use it for that. But there's endless things that you can do with ChatGPT that will really, I think, help you in a mediation practice or any practice, because it's not necessarily going to substitute for you as the mediator, obviously, and being there and doing what you do, but it can enhance your capabilities, not only in, you know, deciphering documents, right? If you get a lot of documents from your clients and you got to read things, you can use ChatGPT. You can use artificial intelligence to summarize things for you very quickly. Doesn't mean that you won't go back and read things, but boy, it really is fast when it comes to summarizing. I've had recently in a case that I was handling, I got somebody filed a 4th amended complaint. I came in the middle of this case, and the complaint was like 100 pages. I was like, what in the world is this thing? And I uploaded that and had ChatGPT summarize that for me. And boy, in 5 minutes of my effort to upload it and figure out exactly what I wanted to do to upload it, and then have that summary, and literally like the whole thing is in 30 seconds. It's like, wow. And then I read the summary and I kind of realized what was going on before I actually started to read the complaint at a later time. And it's great for meetings, if you need to read something and just get up to speed quickly on something, you can summarize documents. But beyond summarizing documents, it's great for content creation. And if you're a mediator and you really want to, share your expertise and project expertise, and you want to maybe do some posts on LinkedIn, or you want to write an article, you want to write a blog post, you want to write a book, you want to write anything, you can really harness the power of ChatGPT, not to do everything for you, but to really give you a foundation instantaneously, quickly, ideas, suggestions, phrases, editing things. And then you got to do your thing to make it yours. But boy, it is a time saver of unbelievable proportions, and it's not going away. And so the reason why I got really excited about it is because I was watching a YouTube video on a class from, I think it was Yale or something. There was like a video that they made of this class to computer science students. And it was somebody from the field of artificial intelligence talking about things. And the one thing that I remember that guest professor said to the class of students, I remember he said, if you do anything, drop everything that you're thinking about and think about artificial intelligence and find a way to incorporate that into what you're going to study, what you're going to do for a living. If you are a programmer, figure out a way to harness, ChatGPT, he was telling the class. If you're somebody who speaks well, find a way to speak about ChatGPT. If you're somebody who's, a graphic designer, find a way to use artificial intelligence to enhance it. The idea is that we're at the infancy of a game-changing invention of mankind that is bigger than anything, really. A lot of people are saying this is literally bigger than anything that we've ever known before. And so don't get passed by. Don't avoid it. It would be the equivalent of saying, I don't want to know what a computer is. But when personal computers came out, okay, I don't want to be involved in a computer. There were many people like, I don't want to use a computer. It's like you look back at them and say, what, are you crazy now? I mean, everything is by the computer. You need to know what the computer is. And then it became, you need to know what the internet is, right? We remember the early days of the internet. I can remember not having the internet. I don't even know what it was. Now it's almost laughable to think like you wouldn't use the internet in your life. Artificial intelligence, same thing. Have to embrace it, have to become familiar. You don't have to be an expert at it, but you can't avoid it. You should know how to use it. It's not hard. It's simple, and it could really enhance you as a mediator in ways I'm going to talk in more detail about during my presentation, but something that I highly recommend you not putting your head in the sand about, because other people, the key is everybody else is going to know this, and you will be, become obsolete if you do not somehow embrace artificial intelligence in some way, using it for your advantage. All right, that's my end of my teaser. And got about 50. Any questions? I can't tell if there's any questions. Let's see.
At this point, there are no other questions.
Okay.
So keep going.
All right, I'll go with one other thing. I'm going to go the Windows snippet tool. If you're familiar with that, let's see. I'm going to bring up something here. All right, let's just say this is part of Windows. And if you haven't used this before, you really should know this. It is such a great thing to quickly do screenshots and even recordings from your computer. And it's built right into Windows. And all you got to do is pull it up. I have it, on my taskbar. And when you bring it up, you're going to get this platform, and all you got to do is hit new. Now, there's a video that you can record or camera. I'm going to put it onto the camera. This is what I usually use it for most of the time. It's just taking screenshots real quickly of parts of my screen that I need. And you can do, it's just so nice. You hit new, and it's your screen's going to go a little dark. You get this crosshair, and then you drag to what you need. So if I needed to just drag this, let's say I wanted to send this image someplace. That's all I did. And I let go, and then you go back to it, and there it is. And now all I can do here, I can do so many things. I can mark it up, but usually what I do is I just save it. If I need it for myself, I'll save it to my computer, or I just make a copy of it and then paste it into the email, whoever I need to send a screenshot to. So that's number one. It's just very simple to just take a quick screenshot of any part of your screen, and you don't have to, it's done in a matter of seconds. Now, you can also do recordings, which is pretty cool too. And I haven't used it a lot for that, but if I wanted to record something going on, I would just put it onto the record, and I'd hit new, and my screen is going to go dark. And let's say I wanted to record the entire presentation that I'm giving, let's say, and I would just, let's say I wanted to record this much of the screen, let's just say, I could record this. And so it allows you to pick up your microphone. So I'm going to put this mic, it's on mute, but I'm going to put it onto the microphone that I'm using. And hopefully it allows me to do that. Usually it does. And I hit start, and it gives you a countdown. And then unmute microphone. Let's see. There you go. Unmuted it. So now it's actually recording what I'm saying to you. And let's say this is great. Let's say I wanted to show Bruce something on my screen. It's like, Bruce, I don't want to talk to Bruce. I don't want to have a Zoom call. I just make this recording. Hey, Bruce, this is what I'm thinking about doing. I'm doing this. And then, there's some other stuff that I wanted to show you over here and down here. And in this little red zone is what I'm recording, right? So I didn't do the whole screen, but you could do the whole screen. And so the whole idea is that I can make a little video of whatever it is, capture whatever I'm doing, record it, hit stop, and now it's going to give me that. That's what I just created. And if I go to save, let's say I could either copy that, or I could just save it, and it's going to save it as an MP4 file. And I'll save it on my computer, and then I'll have that. So it's just a cool little feature that you can just either easily record things, send it as a message to somebody, or just take pictures. I use it mostly for just taking screenshots and little things sometimes. Like if let's just say, for example, I needed a picture of myself somewhere really quickly, and I don't even know where there's a photo or something like that. I could just do a new little quick picture. Oh, I needed this picture of myself, and bang, I can just send that someplace. So I'm just giving you anything that's on your screen, you can just take a picture of. So I think that's a good tool to know. Very simple to use. I keep it right on my task bar down here, and I use it all the time. So that's another little one. And then I'm going to finish up with one other one that I'm going to talk about. Let's see. I think this is the virtual cable. Okay, it's not as critical. I'm just going to tell you that it exists. It's kind of a cool thing. It's really more for transcribing. There are software packages out there like Otter.ai is like a transcription software where you can buy these packages and have it listen to the meeting, and it'll automatically transcribe whatever it is you're listening to, right? So you might see these already in Zoom meetings. People have their Otter or some other platform listening in to a Zoom meeting because they don't want to pay attention, but their software is transcribing everything, so they didn't really miss the meeting. It's not like they have to wait for a recording of the meeting. Maybe the meeting's not even being recorded, and they can now record it and transcribe it and have everything and not miss anything, and which is cool, but people have to pay for that. So in the spirit of tech time, there is another way around that, which is kind of cool. So let me see if I can just show you this. If you go to a website called Virtual Basic or VB audio software, they have what's called a virtual cable. And that will take you to where you can download it for either Windows or Apple. It's free. You download it, it takes 2 seconds, and it's going to be on your computer system. And here's where you find it and how you use it. All right. So let's say we go back to this video. All right. And where's that video? All right. So I'm going to put this video up. I'm going to stop it. And I'm going to put it on half my screen. Okay. And now the other part of my screen is going to be a Microsoft Word document. I'm going to put this as the other part of my screen. So now I have this, and I'm going to do a blank one. Nope. Let's put this blank one there. That should do it. Okay. So I have a blank screen and I have a video. Okay. Just to show and demonstrate. First thing I want to say is if you're not familiar with, you should know that there is a built-in dictation in Microsoft Word, which is pretty good. And if you just want to dictate things, you know, I highly recommend doing that. So if you just dictate and it's going to start listening, as you can see, it's listening to what I'm saying, and it's just actually spitting it out there. You used to have to use other software like Dragon and other ones that exist, but Windows put it right in there in Microsoft Word. I should say, not Windows, Microsoft. And so that's kind of a cool thing. You can do that. It works pretty well. It's not perfect, but I like to use that sometimes if I'm going to dictate notes following a mediation or a meeting with a client. Sometimes I will type things up right away, but sometimes I just want to just dictate it off the top of my head and get it out there. And here's where ChatGPT comes in. I have done this. You dictate out whatever it is, free streaming, just get it out. And then copy and paste what you just dictated, put it into ChatGPT and say, please edit this for punctuation and grammar. And then ChatGPT makes it beautiful. So that's, you know, all of this stuff can be done really kind of cool. So there's a little plug for ChatGPT. All right. So that's it for the dictation. I just want to show you, but let's talk about the virtual cable and how we would use that. So I want to now transcribe this video. Now, the reason why this isn't super amazing, I just showed you how there's these built-in things to do this. So I wouldn't necessarily be using this for this. I used to, but these new plugins just do it way better. But this could be just to demonstrate what a virtual cable can be used for. Let's say I wanted to just have this being transcribed. Let's say it's, it's this video, and how would I do this? So what I got to do is go to my settings for the microphone or sound, sound mixer settings, right? And what it's going to bring up is showing me that my output device right now is my speakers on my computer, and my input device, it automatically put the VB cable. When I install it, it automatically put that. So the input that it's picking up is actually the cable output. And the output device is going to be the what do you call it? The I got to see if I got the cable input. Excuse me. There, I knew there was something there. So the cable output is the input, and the output is actually the input to the virtual cable. So it sounds a little crazy, but this is what I'm trying to set up. So if I play this, it should, when I go back here and say transcribe, it should be working. Let's see if it does that. If I hit this, it's listening. And maybe it's still listening to me. Let me see if this is like technical.
Yeah, it's still listening to you.
I got to just.
The video is not giving us any sound.
Yeah, hold on. It should work though. Well, you know why I think that might also happen is because I think we're on a Zoom call. I should have stopped here. But the idea is, if you're interested in this, it's almost unnecessary, like for videos, because you have these plugins that do it. But there is a way, if I could set this up better, there is a way where you can listen to a meeting that would normally come out of your speakers of your computer, and you're setting that speaker sound to be the virtual cable that's going to listen to the sound of the meeting, whoever's talking in the meeting, and the output is going to be your Microsoft Word document. And so it's going to take the input and it's going to transcribe it right into your Microsoft Word document. You get done with the meeting and you have the whole transcription right there. And then you can do what I said, is you can then put that into ChatGPT and edit it for grammar and all that stuff. So I apologize. It didn't, I didn't have any dress rehearsals today, but that is the concept of how you can use a virtual cable. And it really works. It really does. And the beautiful thing is it's free. Just download it, and you can buy software to do this, and it'll work probably a little cleaner with software that you purchase. But you know what? If you don't need it a lot of these things we spend $10 here, $20 here a month, they add up. And these things, if you're not using them all the time, or you don't want to spend the money, just getting the free version is another workaround. And as I said at the beginning, that is the way Carl and I presented a lot of stuff in Tech Time, was giving you some ideas to use where you don't have to spend a lot of money to do it. So that is my finale of the Tech Time items that I have.
So I want to ask you a question about that last thing. Is that something that could be used with Zoom? Like, for example, I'm thinking we have our board meetings. Many of our board meetings are by Zoom. Somebody takes minutes. We do sometimes record them. But could this be used in conjunction with that to actually transcribe what's happening at the board meeting?
Well, is the board meeting virtual, through Zoom, is what you're saying? Yeah, absolutely. Because just think of it this way. Anywhere, if the sound was coming out of your speakers that you'd be listening to, you just set it up so the output of the Zoom, your audio controls, settings in Zoom, the output usually it shows you your computer speakers. You can always test your output, right? You would just make your output the input of the virtual cable. And so that's what it would pick it up. It would pick it up because now it's playing to the virtual cable. You just have to make sure that the virtual cable input is set up to be in your document so that you could actually see the transcript of it.
Understood. Well, thank you very much. I don't know how everybody else feels about this, but I could sit here and listen to this stuff all day. And I certainly hope that we'll have an opportunity to bring you back again for another Tech Time update in the future. So thank you so much. And I just want to remind everybody that registration is open for the annual conference on November 3rd on the website. Please register. It will be in person at the Pine Manor in Edison. I believe there will also be I shouldn't say I believe. There will also be a remote option by Zoom if you can't attend in person. We're hoping to get a nice crowd there on November 3rd and have an opportunity to engage with each other in person again. And we're going to Suzanne, I think, will welcome everybody as the new president of the NJPM. And don't forget that all of these webinars, Monday webinars, you have to register for on the website. And if you want CLE credits, you'll have to, it's a $25 charge per webinar for members. And thank you all for joining us. Yes.
Bruce, one thing I would just like to ask anybody who found any of this valuable, just to put in the chat, if they put a yes, if they found any of the information valuable, so we just get a little feedback from those that attended, because you never know on these. That's the thing about these webinars, that it's you never know what's going on the other end, So it's if they found
I'm going to give you 2 thumbs up and an enthusiastic yes.
Okay.
I can't wait to start looking up some of this stuff and wasting all of my time that I should be billing to look at all this stuff, but it won't be a waste.
Okay, yeah.
I found a lot of it, and I'm seeing yeses and very valuable from a number of people.
Okay, good, good.
So,
okay, good. Good to hear.
Thumbs up. So it looks like, and I think we had about 13 people, 12 or 13 people as we went along today. So
okay, good.
So thank you again. Yep, everybody. I don't know if you could see the chat, but everybody's saying was very, very helpful.
Good to hear, and I'm glad. And if anybody has any follow-up questions, they can just shoot me an email on it, and I'll be happy to see what I can do to
Oh,
get more
you're
information.
asking for it because I'm gonna send you like a ton of emails now.
Of course, the window for submitting emails is 7:48 to 7:49 on Saturday.